Have you ever felt that nagging whisper, a deep yearning for something more than what this world offers? What if true liberation, true spiritual growth, lies not in chasing fleeting sensations, but in a profound stillness within? Could the very tools we use to seek awakening actually be binding us? Join me as we embark on a journey of self-discovery, questioning the familiar and unveiling ancient wisdom that promises not just a glimpse, but a permanent transformation. Are you ready to truly awaken from the inside out? Hello, wonderful souls, and welcome to Pure Mind Think. I'm your guide, ready to delve into a profound question that many seekers never truly ask until perhaps it's too late. It's a question that cuts to the very core of our spiritual journey. Am I expanding consciousness? Or am I merely escaping from it? This isn't about judgment, it's about clarity, about seeing with unclouded eyes. Some say certain plants open their mind, revealing vast new landscapes of perception. They speak of feeling more connected, more alive, as if a veil has been lifted. Others, however, assert that these same substances cloud the mind, dulling the very senses they claim to sharpen. But in ancient traditions, particularly in Shaolin teachings, we pose a different, more piercing question: is your mind truly free? Or is it now dependent on the very tool you believed would liberate it? This inquiry isn't about labeling something as inherently good or bad. It transcends simple morality. Instead, it's about deep, unfiltered awareness. It's about a radical honesty with yourself, looking into the mirror of your being with stillness, without the comfortable haze of external influences. If you genuinely seek truth, if you long for authentic spiritual growth, you must be willing to go beyond mere pleasure. You must be prepared to face yourself, raw and unadorned, in the profound silence that follows. Today, I want to share with you what I consider to be the final lesson, perhaps the last video you may ever need to watch, on the intricate connection between certain substances and spirituality. This isn't born from fleeting opinion or modern trends, but from a path walked in centuries of silence, a discipline honed through countless breaths and unwavering presence. It's a message carved from the very fabric of profound inner work. There comes a moment in every genuine seeker's journey when the rigid boundary between the physical and the spiritual begins to dissolve, to blur into a soft, inviting haze. In that transformative moment, we often start searching. We grasp for anything, any key, any magic elixir that promises to lift the veil. Even if just for a while, we yearn for that fleeting glimpse behind the curtain, that elusive truth just beyond our grasp. And in this search, many, far too many, turn to external substances. Cannabis, for instance, has become a popular choice for some, mistakenly believed to be a universal key that opens mystical doors. They hope it will lead them to deeper awareness, to altered states of consciousness, to something higher, something divine. They passionately speak of feeling more connected to the universe, more attuned to their own inner voice, more vibrantly alive than ever before. And for a short, intoxicating period, this sensation may indeed feel true. The plant, undoubtedly, can shift perception. It can loosen the tight grip of mental rigidity, allowing thoughts to flow more freely. It can, for a moment, reveal intricate patterns and hidden connections that might otherwise be lost in the ceaseless noise and chatter of everyday thought. It offers a unique lens through which to view reality, a temporary reprieve from the mundane. But here, beloved friends, lies the profound and often overlooked danger. For in relentlessly chasing the sensation of expansion, we frequently lose sight of, and neglect, the rigorous discipline required to truly embody that expansion in our waking lives. The Shaolin path, a testament to disciplined spiritual growth, does not simply dismiss experience. Far from it. Instead, it questions its very roots, its origins, its sustainable nature. It asks a crucial question: if your peace, if your profound sense of connection, comes only when smoke fills your lungs, is it truly peace at all? Or is it merely a temporary state, a fragile dependency expertly disguised as genuine enlightenment? This is a mirror moment, a chance for honest reflection. True expansion of consciousness is not a fleeting, temporary sensation that comes and goes with external stimuli. It is, by its very nature, a permanent widening, a foundational shift in your awareness that deepens and sustains itself. And this profound, lasting transformation cannot be granted, cannot be bestowed, by any external source. No matter how revered or how ancient. Not even a so-called sacred plant can truly give it to you. The plant, perhaps, lights a momentary spark. A gentle reminder that the outer ritual must always reflect an inner stillness that you cultivate. But when we begin to rely on anything external to feel deep, to feel spiritual, to feel connected, we are, in essence, building our sacred temple on shifting sand. We are inadvertently feeding the pervasive illusion that something outside of us holds the key to leading us inside, to our true selves. And this illusion, while often pleasant, even comforting in the short term, inevitably becomes a subtle, insidious trap. Consider this: expansion without inherent control is indistinguishable from chaos. Think of a mighty river. When it flows within its banks, it's a vibrant source of life, irrigating fields and sustaining communities. But when that same river overflows its banks, unconstrained and uncontrolled, what was once a source of life quickly becomes an agent of destruction, sweeping away everything in its path. Imagine a balloon. It may rise high, soaring into the sky when filled with gas. But if it's untethered, if it has no anchor, it will simply drift aimlessly wherever the wind dictates. There is no direction, no groundedness, no mastery. The mind, too, can expand without genuine purpose, without intentional grounding. But this, beloved friends, is not true freedom. This is fragmentation, a scattering of your precious awareness. In Shaolin philosophy, a path dedicated to profound spiritual growth, mastery is not about feeling more or chasing heightened emotional states. It is fundamentally about deep, abiding understanding. It's not about flying into the sky on borrowed wings, but about diligently learning how to walk the earth with profound wisdom, with every step intentional and grounded. And wisdom, unlike fleeting euphoria, is silent. It does not shout for attention. It does not rush you. It patiently waits for you in the profound stillness that remains after the temporary high has long passed, beckoning you to truly listen. The real question then, the one that truly matters for your spiritual growth, is not, did it open your mind? But rather, can your mind stay open? Can it remain in that expanded state, when absolutely nothing is enhancing it? For that, and only that, is where the genuine path to liberation begins. Not in the momentary peak of elevation, but in the sustained, profound stillness that follows it, the stillness that you cultivate from within. In a world relentlessly addicted to motion, to constant stimulation, to perpetual busyness, the rarest and most challenging discipline of all is stillness. And yet, this very stillness is the pulsing heart, the vibrant core of all true spiritual cultivation. Many instinctively turn to external means because they believe it slows the racing thoughts, softens the sharp edges of emotion, and quiets the relentless inner noise that plagues modern life. But make no mistake, stillness is not slowness. It is not a mere reduction of speed, but a profound refinement of awareness. To be truly still is not to become dull or numb, quite the opposite. It is to become vibrantly, fully alive in the present moment, experiencing every nuance with heightened sensitivity. The Shaolin monk does not seek numbness or escape. He seeks to feel with such piercing clarity that even the gentle brush of the wind across his skin becomes a profound teaching, a moment of deep insight. True stillness is earned. It is not something that can be consumed or bought. It is cultivated, meticulously, breath by breath, posture by posture, over days, months, and even years of intentional, consistent practice. It cannot be rolled up or inhaled. It cannot be summoned with smoke. It arises organically from the inside, like a powerful flame that grows warmer and more radiant, the more you sit in profound silence with it, tending to its gentle glow. But when stillness is chased through external means, through shortcuts, it inevitably loses its purity. It becomes dependent, fragile. A tranquilized mind is fundamentally not the same as a trained one. One is temporarily subdued, its agitation temporarily suppressed. The other has been sharpened, refined, and strengthened through consistent, dedicated effort, making it resilient. In the Shaolin tradition, the warrior trains not to escape his emotions, but to see through them, to sit in discomfort without flinching, to hear the internal chaos and remain utterly undisturbed. This untrained, easily disturbed mind does not survive. When real conflict arises, when life's true storms begin to rage. And this, beloved friends, is the ultimate test for your spiritual growth. Can your peace, your inner tranquility, remain steadfast when the world does not support it? Or does it crumble, dissolving into anxiety and fear? The moment life becomes sharp again, when challenges emerge, stillness born of rigorous, consistent practice survives the storm. It is an unshakable anchor. Stillness born of temporary substances, however, cannot even stand before a gentle breeze. It dissipates with the slightest disruption. We often, and mistakenly, confuse temporary relief with true inner mastery. But the monk knows this undeniable truth. If your tool controls your state of being, if you need it to feel a certain way, then your stillness, your peace, is not truly yours. It is borrowed. The difference between needing a crutch and walking freely lies not in the outward motion, but in the inner dependence. If you constantly need something outside yourself to feel grounded, to feel whole, then you are not truly grounded. You are attached. And attachment, even to the feeling of peace, is still attachment. It is a subtle chain. The path to true tranquility, to profound spiritual growth, is rarely comfortable. It is an arduous journey inward. It asks you to sit with the parts of yourself you'd rather desperately escape, the fears, the anxieties, the unprocessed pain. It asks you to breathe through urges and cravings, instead of instantly feeding them. It asks you to patiently observe your thoughts, like clouds passing in the sky, instead of attempting to silence them or push them away. The real stillness, the kind that genuinely transforms your life, that reshapes your very being, is not found through shortcuts or fleeting moments of altered perception. It is found through steady, unwavering presence, through the consistent discipline of returning to yourself, especially, and most crucially, when you don't want to, when every fiber of your being resists. The power of any tool, whether it's a sacred plant, a ritual, or even a meditation technique, lies not in the tool itself. Its true power resides in the hand that uses it, and more profoundly, in the enlightened mind behind that hand. Consider a simple flame. It can illuminate a path, guiding you through darkness. Or it can tragically burn down a home. A sharp knife can expertly prepare a nourishing meal for your loved ones. Or it can cause immense destruction. The object itself does not determine the outcome. Intention does. So, when someone turns to cannabis, or any substance, in the pursuit of spiritual insight, we must ask, from what intention does this truly arise? Is it a genuine desire for spiritual growth and understanding? Or is it a hidden desire for escape? In the temple, every gesture carries profound meaning. Every single step is mindful, intentional. Even the way a simple cup of tea is poured reflects the precise state of one's awareness. Why then would the use of any substance be exempt from such deep, internal scrutiny? If the motivation for using a substance is truly sacred, rooted in humility, profound reflection, and a deeply ingrained ritualistic context, then perhaps it can, for some, become a doorway, a temporary aid to insight. But when the use becomes unconscious, habitual, or fundamentally rooted in escapism, a desire to avoid discomfort or reality, then that doorway tragically becomes a solid wall. And the very elevation you desperately seek becomes a profound illusion. The line between medicine and poison is always a delicate balance of dosage and, critically, intention. This is precisely why the Shaolin Way emphasizes how we do things, not just what we do. It is never about blind rejection or blind acceptance, but about conscious, intentional, and deeply engaged participation. In ancient traditions, particularly among indigenous cultures and mystics, plants were used sparingly, often under the strict guidance of a wise teacher, within a sacred ritual that was designed to heighten awareness, not dull it. The plant was considered a mirror, reflecting insights and truths. It was never intended to be a mask, obscuring reality or providing a permanent escape. But today, that sacred context is tragically lost for many. What was once ceremonial often becomes casual. What was once a mindful encounter, a rare and revered experience, slowly morphs into a daily, unconscious habit. And when frequency of use increases without conscious intention, sensitivity inevitably decreases. When you reach for something too often, when it becomes a default, You become numb to its deeper lessons. The subtle fire that once revealed profound insights slowly transforms into a thick smoke that clouds your vision, obscuring the very truth you sought. The mind begins to believe, falsely, that it needs a substance in order to feel connected, or to feel focused, or to finally feel calm. And with that deeply ingrained dependency, true spiritual growth becomes elusive. When we use any substance to supposedly deepen our meditation, or feel more in tune with the universe, we must ask ourselves, with radical honesty, would I still pursue these practices without it? Am I truly using this plant to assist my path, or has it, subtly, silently, become the path itself? Intention, beloved friends, is not about the convincing story you tell others. It's about the raw, undeniable truth you sit with when absolutely no one else is watching. It is the quiet, unvarnished honesty that lies beneath the surface of any ritual or habit. If you light up in solitude to find clarity, but feel a profound resistance to silence without it, then your elevation, your perceived expansion, is borrowed. It is not truly yours. And what is borrowed must, inevitably, always be returned. The plant may indeed open a temporary window to a different view. But if you never learn to walk through that window on your own, if you never take the step yourself, then you are merely watching the light from the inside, forever trapped, never truly stepping into the boundless expanse of it. Intention is the unbreakable bridge between a mere experience and genuine, lasting transformation. It is what elevates a simple action into a sacred offering, a fleeting moment into a profound lesson, and a choice into a powerful mirror that reflects your true readiness to walk forward, to embrace spiritual growth, without being tethered, without being owned by anything external. The journey inward, the path to authentic spiritual growth, is not a smooth, comfortable road paved with ease. It is, by its very nature, a rugged, uneven, sometimes arduous path that demands your full, unwavering presence with every single step. Many who seek spiritual awakening do so because they are utterly tired of pain, tired of chaos, and exhausted by confusion. They desperately desire peace. They long for profound calm. And so, they often turn to what promises solace. Sometimes that is meditation, but far too often, it becomes a substitute for true inner work, offering a kind of calm without the necessary confrontation of self. But true peace, the kind that endures, is not the absence of discomfort. It is the profound mastery of it. At the Shaolin Temple, we do not run from resistance, we train within it. The warrior does not avoid the weight of the sword because it is heavy. He lifts it daily, consistently, until it no longer burdens him, until he wields it effortlessly. Likewise, the mind, for true spiritual growth, must learn to stand resolutely in the storm, not to seek fragile shelter in fleeting illusion. What many mistakenly call spiritual elevation is often just avoidance, cleverly dressed in mystical language. It's easy to light up and feel relaxed. It's far more challenging to sit with your raw, agitated mind and breathe, to observe, without distraction. That, beloved friends, is the true work. That is the true temple. Friction is the divine fire that burns away illusion. It is what mercilessly exposes the parts of us still clinging to fear, to control, to unprocessed pain and trauma. And growth, real, deep, soul level, spiritual growth, absolutely requires this friction. Without it, there is no genuine transformation, only comfortable stagnation. You cannot sharpen a blade with silk. You cannot forge strength without resistance. The monk trains in silence, fasts in discipline, not for suffering's sake, but because friction is the crucible, the holy ground, that holds the potential for true awakening. When you always reach for something to numb or soften the moment, you are, paradoxically, interrupting the very organic process that leads to liberation. You are placing a cushion over the thorn, instead of learning how to walk barefoot with heightened awareness, with resilience. Pain is not the enemy on the path to spiritual growth. It is often the greatest teacher. Discomfort has never been comfortable, by definition. The one who seeks only pleasant experiences, who shies away from all friction, will never find true awakening. Because awakening is not an escape from life's realities. It is a piercing, unshakable clarity within life, within its full spectrum. When you can sit with anxiety, truly observe it as it rises, and falls like a wave without being consumed by it. When you can observe fear as if it were simply wind passing through your chest, a fleeting sensation. When you can look at craving without impulsively feeding it, only then are you beginning to step into true inner mastery, into profound spiritual growth. External remedies may offer temporary comfort, but they cannot teach you to endure. They cannot replace the silent breakthroughs that come when you bravely sit in the fire of discomfort without reaching for immediate release. And every single time you bypass that fire, you subtly postpone the very strength, the very resilience that is desperately trying to emerge from deep within you. One of the most subtle, yet insidiously powerful, obstacles on the path of inner mastery is dependency. It's that quiet, almost invisible threat that gradually ties your well-being, your peace, your sense of self, to something external to you. At first, it appears utterly harmless. A little ritual here, a small indulgence there, a seemingly innocuous habit. But slowly, imperceptibly, what was once entirely optional becomes subtly necessary, and what was once merely a tool in your hand, slowly, silently, becomes your master. In Shaolin philosophy, this form of bondage, this invisible chain, is considered far more dangerous than visible, obvious chains. Precisely because it does not scream. Dependency doesn't always reveal itself as a full-blown addiction, loud and undeniable. It often hides cunningly behind seemingly innocent words. It helps me focus. It calms my nerves after a long day. I simply can't meditate without it. These are the subtle disguises it wears. But when you find yourself needing something outside of yourself to feel whole, to feel complete, then genuine wholeness has not yet been truly realized. It has been outsourced, delegated to an external source. Any powerful tool, including a sacred plant, must be wielded with deep, profound awareness, with intentionality. But the very moment you find yourself reaching for it without a second thought, or feeling a creeping discomfort, an undeniable agitation without it, that is when the line, the subtle boundary between use and dependency, has already been crossed. The Shaolin monk does not reject the world or its offerings. Instead, he meticulously studies his relationship to it. He watches with keen awareness how desires arise within him, how subtle grooves of habit begin to shape his actions, how attachments are subtly formed. Recognizing that anything that pulls him, that owns him, can be a form of bondage. It could be a substance, yes. It could be comfort. It could even be your meticulously crafted spiritual practices if they are performed without genuine presence. If they become mere routines. Dependency is not limited to obvious, easily identifiable addictions. It is the invisible, often unnoticed grip of anything that subtly interrupts your fundamental freedom of choice. Anything that subtly dictates your state of being. Even the seemingly benign desire to feel peaceful all the time can become a trap when it prevents you from courageously confronting what truly needs to be felt. What needs to be healed within you for authentic spiritual growth. The most deceptive part of dependency is that it almost always begins in moments of good, even noble, intention. You earnestly tell yourself, "This helps me think more deeply, more creatively." You sincerely convince yourself it's an integral part of your spiritual growth, a necessary aid on your path. But slowly, subtly, the sacred ritual begins its quiet descent into routine. The truly sacred, once revered, becomes merely casual. And without even realizing it, you no longer meditate, you medicate. You no longer breathe with conscious awareness. You breathe with unconscious assistance. In this insidious way, dependency silently robs you of your natural, inherent power. It whispers, subtly, powerfully, that you need something extra. Something external, to access what was always, always within you. And as soon as that deceptive belief takes root deep within your consciousness, your inner strength, your innate resilience, begins to wither. Because now you are no longer cultivating power from within. You are merely leasing it, renting it, from an outside source. The monk does not seek freedom in the superficial form of endless choices, or the constant pursuit of pleasant feelings. He seeks a deeper, more profound freedom from inner compulsion. From the unconscious, relentless pull toward anything that tries to subtly rule him. Whether it is the craving for external praise, the deep-seated fear of stillness, or the habitual need for a certain altered state of mind, Each of these subtle compulsions must be observed with unwavering presence, courageously confronted, and then gradually, consciously released for true spiritual growth. Only then can genuine discipline blossom, like a lotus from mud. Only then can unclouded clarity return, illuminating your path forward. Because a mind that is truly owned by nothing, a consciousness unshackled from all subtle dependencies, is unshakable. It does not need to relentlessly chase a fleeting feeling. It does not fear discomfort, for it understands its true nature as a teacher. It simply moves with clear intention, rests deeply in the present moment, and remains anchored, immovably, in the profound truth of its own being. There is a place far beyond the temporary high, a sacred space within you that requires no substance, no external stimulus, no desperate escape. It is not found in a cloud of smoke or in a fleeting sensation of euphoria. It is not triggered by a chemical reaction, but by a conscious, intentional realization of your inherent nature. This sacred place is called inner peace, and it is the highest, most resonant frequency a human being can operate from. Not because it overwhelms the senses with intense stimulation, but precisely because it calms them, bringing them into exquisite balance. Not because it alters your perception, but because it profoundly purifies it, allowing you to see reality as it truly is. In the Shaolin tradition, we say that peace is not something you feel. It is something you become. And to truly become peace, to embody it fully, you must diligently train the mind to rest in stillness without desperately seeking external stimulation. You must consciously unlearn the ingrained habit of reaching outward when the true doorway, the genuine source of all peace, is always inward. Cannabis may offer a fleeting sensation of clarity or bliss, but it is, at its core, borrowed time. It lifts you, yes, but only to inevitably bring you back down. Often with a subtle emotional or energetic crash. It may open a window, but it leaves you standing perpetually at the edge of it, always dependent on the next inhale, the next external stimulus, to return to that state. The monk, in his profound journey of spiritual growth, does not reject the idea of altered states or heightened awareness, but he asks a piercing question: why rely on an external tool, when the magnificent temple of transformation already exists within you? He understands that your breath, when practiced mindfully, can take you deeper than any substance. He knows that your awareness, when finely tuned through consistent discipline, can bring about more profound serenity, more lasting clarity, than any external aid ever could hope to offer. This peace is not loud or boisterous. It is not intense or exciting in a conventional sense. It is simple. It is silent. And because of that, because it lacks external drama, most people tragically overlook it. They chase dramatic awakenings, sensational psychedelic insights, and fleeting ecstasies, not realizing that the most profound, most revolutionary transformation is the quiet, unwavering ability to sit in a simple room, with nothing external, and feel utterly full, completely whole, deeply at peace. The breath, when practiced mindfully, becomes an unbreakable bridge to this inner sanctuary. It anchors you firmly in the present moment. It sharpens your awareness of the now. Each conscious inhale invites a deeper awareness. Each intentional exhale releases lingering resistance. Over time, this consistent practice of conscious breath cultivates a kind of stillness, an inner peace that is no longer fragile or easily broken. It does not shatter under the weight of stress. It does not dissolve in the face of discomfort or adversity. It becomes an unshakable shield, forged from silence and crystal-clear clarity. When you have diligently trained your mind to sit, without needing to observe thoughts and emotions, without grasping onto them, to act in the world without the ego's constant interference, then you have already reached a state far more elevated, far more profound, than any temporary high. That is when peace becomes not something you occasionally visit, but something you profoundly live in, an intrinsic part of your very being. And the beautiful, liberating truth is this state of profound inner peace is always available to you. It is not locked behind complex rituals, esoteric substances, or elaborate ceremonies. It is simply waiting within you, accessible through conscious intention and disciplined presence. The highest high, the truest form of spiritual growth, is not an altered state that you chase. It is your natural, inherent state. unclouded by external influences, unbound by subtle dependencies, undisturbed by the world's chaos. And though it may take longer to reach this state, through consistent effort and discipline, once attained, it lasts. It deepens. It holds you without dependency, without any strings attached. Because it arises from rigorous discipline, from conscious effort, not from fleeting indulgence. The world may constantly offer you enticing shortcuts, tempting you with instant gratification and temporary relief. But none of them, not a single one, can compare to the profound clarity, the unwavering resilience, and the deep, abiding peace that comes when you arrive at your true self. With nothing in your hands but present moment awareness, and nothing in your lungs but conscious breath. So now, the choice returns to you. Not with pressure, but with loving presence, with profound awareness. You've heard the silence between the words. You've glimpsed the truth beneath the teachings. This conversation was never about whether something is inherently right or wrong, moral or immoral. It was about becoming deeply aware of what you reach for, and more importantly, why you reach for it. It was about seeing clearly the crucial difference between genuine elevation and subtle escape, between habits that truly free you and habits that quietly, insidiously, own you. The monk does not walk faster on his path. Quite the opposite. He walks slower, with deliberate presence, so he does not miss the profound lesson hidden in each intentional step, in each moment. Likewise, the true seeker, on the path of spiritual growth, does not rush frantically toward fleeting bliss, or desperately chase altered states of consciousness. Instead, he trains himself diligently to stay, to remain awake moment by moment, breath by conscious breath, until peace is no longer something he occasionally visits, but something he is, an intrinsic part of his very essence. If any external tool, or even a sacred plant, has been your teacher, bow to it in profound gratitude for the lessons it offered. But then, with deep introspection, ask yourself this final, crucial question. Have I truly learned to walk without it? Have I internalized its lessons so deeply that I no longer require its aid? For your highest clarity, your most profound spiritual growth, will not come from what you inhale from the outside. It will come, beautifully, powerfully, from what you embody, from what you cultivate and awaken within. And that, beloved friends, is the Shaolin way. Disciplined, awake, and truly free. Has this journey inward sparked a new understanding within you? Are you ready to truly deepen your spiritual growth and cultivate an unshakable inner peace? Then don't just watch, become part of our conscious community. Hit that subscribe button for pure mind. Think and ring the notification bell to continue this vital exploration together. Let's walk this path of true awakening, united in wisdom and presence. Your deepest transformation awaits.